top of the world? Who is on top of the world? Certainly not me, but I am a preacher's kid. Welcome to the Worst Ones podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I have no background, just white behind me, but my name is Rudy Wilson. With the cool background, we got Janessa Rowland.
Hey.
With the Matilda books and library behind her. Terry Wayne, he has a white background, but he does have a door, so he's beating me.
I have to out-white Rudy.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I get it. I get the W on account of the complexion.
There you go, 100%. And then of course, Kellie Lee, she has a background. I just don't know what it is, but it's fancy though.
It's my dining room.
My dining room that I don't. The only time you eat in that room is when you're on the podcast. I guarantee
you. Black families have that room you can't go in.
Yeah,
with the plastic over the furniture.
Yeah. That's so funny. That's the first time I ever saw plastic on furniture was at a black kid's house from church. I was like, this is weird. You're weird.
Yeah. Hey, they ain't trying to furniture expensive.
Right. But let me tell y'all about that plastic. Okay. My great grandmother had the plastic and she died in 2004. And we actually just sold her house last year. And when we went to clean up the house, everybody was scared to go in it because it kind of had been stagnant for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you what was pristine. That furniture. Why? Because it had the plastic on it. Furniture was pristine.
I don't mean to be insensitive, but you started that story and my comedian brain went one place. I thought you were going to say, my grandma died last year and we wrapped her in plastic and she's still fresh.
No.
Yeah,
no.
I thought that's where you were going.
No, she's not fresh, but that furniture was.
She's not fresh.
No, my grandparents died back in 2005, 6, and 7. So
I think it's pretty impressive that you were able to meet your great grandmother, though. I think that's a blessing. I only met 3 grandparents. Because my mom's dad, he had already passed like before me and Risa was born, and then now all of them gone now. But I'm saying as far as like great grandparents, I don't even know their names.
She died in 2004, so I was like in high school when she passed. But that's the only. Well, no, I knew my other great grandparents, but yeah, she died in 2004.
Good old genes over there.
I think she was 95. Her siblings, all of her siblings that I know of, all died over 90. So I'm hoping, that's that gene that comes on to me.
You feel me? That's what's up. Kellie Lee, we heard you was out here being fast in New Orleans.
I was in New Orleans for Memorial Day weekend. Celebrated one of my best friend's weddings. Had a wonderful time. Her wedding was beautiful. I partied like I hadn't partied in a while. We were
now. What type of party was this, Kellie? Was this a Holy Ghost party? Because a Holy Ghost party don't stop. A Holy Ghost party don't stop. Was this a Holy Ghost party?
The Holy Ghost into the party.
Rudy was saying, "Ain't no party like a Holy Ghost party, because a Holy Ghost party don't fall."
So when you say you brought the Holy Ghost, does that mean you brought your own bottle? Is that what that means?
She brought her own spirits. She brought her own spirits.
That's a good one. That was a good one. But no, had an amazing time. Like I said, they had me out partying 3-4 nights in a row out on Bourbon. I'm still struggling. Yesterday I was dead to the world. I'm still struggling today. But no, had a wonderful time. Did
you eat good?
I ate good. I had turtle soup. That was something. Yeah, it's like a cultural dish in New Orleans.
That's some swamp shit there for sure.
Ventured out a little bit, and it was actually pretty good. And then your classics, red beans and rice, jambalaya, gumbo, all that good stuff. I didn't get any beignets though, so I gotta come back.
Those are delicious.
Oh my gracious! So
I gotta make my way back to New Orleans. I ain't been in since what? Whenever that conference, the Full Gospel Conference before Katrina. That's the last time. That's the last time I've been.
Wow.
Katrina was
Me too,
2000.
I
Katrina
think.
was what, 05?
Right.
2005?
And the conference was like earlier that year.
Yeah. Oh no, you got to go back. New Orleans is a great time. I
Yeah.
love New Orleans. Wonderful
Yeah.
time. Yep.
I've been to
like conference didn't work. But
I've been to Louisiana, but I went to Baton Rouge, and that's when I was in the Army because I was dating a girl from there. But that's like the closest, I guess, to just say Louisiana style food. Definitely red beans and rice, all that type of stuff was definitely made. But I do want to hit New Orleans, just even as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Get it
it
popping.
smells like pee and vomit. That's what
It's
I
not
mean,
so,
but so is New York, and my
Yeah.
my sister lived in New York for the longest. I done spent plenty of time in New York. I mean, New York. I tell people all the time, New York is beautiful as long as you looking up at the buildings and the lights and stuff. But you are definitely kicking trash the whole time.
like
Trash, roaches, and rats.
and rats about as big as your head.
Right.
Yeah, they spray down the French Quarter every morning, and it still smells like pee and vomit all day. Like there's you can't. It's embedded in the buildings. I think.
Yeah, man, it's rough. Tara Wayne, man, how are you doing?
I'm exhausted, man.
There you go.
I spent the last 5 days out
You
in
said
the woods.
you was on Naked and Afraid, right?
Kind of. Was rafting the Arkansas River in the Colorado Rockies.
There you go.
Yeah. Turned out our rafting guide was a 22-year-old blonde hottie. So
Gotcha.
that was interesting to watch 5 40-year-old men hit on one young girl for 5 days. That was
Gotcha. So obviously your girlfriend doesn't watch this podcast. I'm assuming.
no, she's okay with it.
Right.
She's very open-minded.
Should we edit this part? Is all I'm saying.
Right.
Oh, you'd see her walk in from this door right behind me.
I got you. At 7 minutes and 30 seconds, I got you.
Yeah.
I cut all that out. No, that's lit though, man. So nobody broke a bone, sprained an ankle, scraped a knee.
Nobody got hurt. Nobody
got stung
hurt.
by a bee.
The run, that rafting run was a lot more dangerous than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, nobody got hurt. So
did y'all pray before y'all started? Did you lead him in prayer as the preacher kid of the group?
I
Gotcha.
yes.
What about you?
No,
What about you, Kelly? Were you pray? Did you pray before Bourbon Street?
I put to myself.
Gotcha.
I covered everyone.
that sounds like a lot.
She was praying when she got too drunk. Like, Lord, if you get me out of this, I will never drink again.
Man, I'm not even going to that story, but man, Lord, don't take me out. I don't want to go like this.
Yeah, but see, then you're gonna get to 40 and you're gonna be like, well, that's not too bad of a way to go. I'm like, that's okay. Already in New Orleans, show up hungover to heaven.
So, good time.
That should have been the topic. Is there hangovers in heaven? That's.
I mean, I think we kind of know the answer to that. Like, why are you? You
Don't make me send you the definition.
You still hungover?
Right.
You still hungover? So, Janessa, how about you? You said you was all right. The Lord is all right.
Yeah, everything's this week's really busy for me. Ozone season, remember, started yesterday. So so far so good. Just really busy with work. While everybody else, like Kelly, gets to relax for the next 2 months and vacation and everything, I get to work hard.
So wait a second, Janessa, does that mean that I did a good thing for the environment by using human-powered transportation for 5 days? Is that?
Yeah.
I reduced my carbon footprint.
I was about to say
awesome.
You reduced your carbon footprint.
Awesome.
He was in that vehicle smoking a cigarette. So he was out the window.
Now, Terry, that's not helping this. Captain Planet would not be
Captain Planet.
That's a lie by Ted Turner.
No.
So did I miss the Ozone Week conversation last week when I was out?
You've actually missed 2 weeks, Kelly.
I did not miss 2 weeks.
You have not been here the last 2 weeks, Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay, you missed
At
2
least
weeks.
not on time.
Like
One week you missed purposely, and the other one was by accident. But either way, you missed.
Wait, what? No. Okay, wait.
2 weeks ago you weren't here, and then last week you came right after we pushed stop. Remember?
I wasn't here 2 weeks ago.
No, ma'am.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
That's not true.
Do you have Alzheimer's? Why?
You they all just look at the vid. They on YouTube. You can go look at them. You'll see it's your three faces.
Last week, yes, because I was getting my hair done and it went long. The week before, I was here.
No, you were late. Somebody's wedding or something.
No, that was Janessa that was out. I was here.
Okay. We'll check.
Double check this.
If I was wrong, I'll apologize.
Yes, that was Janessa that was out for the wedding and the baby shower. She had like 20 things in one day.
Yeah, but I still feel like that was 3 weeks ago. I feel like 2 weeks ago you still weren't here.
I feel like I'm definitely wrong.
But how about this? How about you introduce the topic for today, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna look.
Like, can you tell us how your Memorial Day weekend went first, and then you can go look.
I won't be doing shit. What do y'all want from me? It's the same thing every week, okay?
Did you watch Saving Private Ryan?
No.
In respect for your country.
I didn't.
Well, yeah. No, that's
first of all, Saving Private Ryan is fire. I don't want to take that away from, but no,
they put it on every Memorial Day. It's like It's a Wonderful Life.
I haven't paid for cable since my parents paid for it when I was a kid. Yeah. If it ain't on Netflix or somebody's streaming service that I'm using on a password,
that's what I'm saying. They put it on like broadcast television every year.
Yeah, that's what I wouldn't see it on there. But so Kellie Lee, go for it. What are we talking about today?
So today's topic is we're gonna broadcast it.
Are we going to? I thought you were going to maybe like talk a little bit first, and then, but okay.
All right, so so here's the background. So today's topic is the different rules to dating a PK. Are there different rules to dating a PK? So this is how this topic kind of came about today. So I like this guy. And see, I really don't want to tell this story because I don't want y'all to hold this against me. But all right. So I like this guy, and we were talking about, kind of what you do after work, whatever. And so he mentioned that he likes to go to the strip club to, kind of have a drink, relax, whatever. So my mind personally, not even being a PK, but just as a woman, of course, doesn't want, her man to frequent a strip club. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to go for a bachelor party, a birthday party, you celebrating something. I don't, cool. I understand. Mm-hmm. But in terms of I'm going Tuesday at 5 to hang out with the dudes all night, not with it. Mm-hmm. So passed it by another guy, like I typically do. Hey, what do you think? And his response was, Kellie, you're a preacher's kid. Like your boyfriend, husband, whatever, can't be seen in the strip club. Thought didn't even cross my mind. So then I wondered, like, all right, so we talked about us as preachers' kids and the expectations, for us and what we can and cannot do, and as I guess work towards liberation, reading for some things. Are there rules, expectations for the people that we date, or are they allowed to kind of live their lives because, again, their parents aren't preachers, they didn't choose to be preachers, right? Supposed to be with a preacher's kid. So
let me ask you a question, Kellie. The person who gave you the or who said that your man can't be seen there because you're a preacher's kid, who was that?
That was a guy friend of mine.
A guy friend of yours.
I grew up with church with.
Right. Okay, so that was a guy friend of yours. Okay, so but he does not know the guy. This guy. Mm-hmm. Okay, and does this guy, like, is he a Christian? Did he grow up in church? He
is a Christian. Okay. He has made the statement. So this is again with dating. So he's made the statement that I'm more spiritual than religious. I don't go to church every Sunday. Mm-hmm. He's even said, like, I'm interested to see what this conversation looks like with your dad. Because I'm like, so I'm gonna get you all my dating business today.
Hey.
In my adult life, I haven't had a relationship that I have brought a guy home to my parents. So my parents have never, So I haven't.
Adult life meaning like 18 till now?
So after college.
Okay, so like
me
20,
either,
22,
Kellie.
22 to
like 21 to now, yeah. Like
last decade strong. Gotcha.
15 years. Like, yeah.
Right.
I guess about 12 years, 12, 13 years.
Right. Gotcha.
Even in college, not really. So like my mom may have met a guy or two, but it wasn't like with my dad meeting a guy.
Right.
Because that's a huge deal for me. So I don't even know what that looks like, for my parents to meet a guy. But I do know the first thing out of Kevin Lee's mouth is, "Are you a Christian?"
Hey God.
Do you pray?
Do you know how to speak in tongues? Come here, let me hear you say it. Let me hear it.
Are you having premarital sex?
Right.
I don't know what the conversation is going to be.
Right.
Have
and
you
I'm sure
lain with my daughter, boy?
But yeah, so yes, to answer your question, he's a Christian. He believes in God. He is not a consistent churchgoer. He also is not interested in, but is knowledgeable about other religions. And I don't want to misquote him, but is knowledgeable about other religions as well. Right. But he's a Christian, does believe in God,
right?
But is not a regular churchgoer. I did ask my dad that question, though. But go ahead.
Well, I was gonna ask this. So basically, what your friend was kind of saying is like he feels like y'all are unequally yoked, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Like in the sense of the particular action of going to a strip club will kind of give off just say that unequal yoking, at least appearance, if not even if it's not necessarily just say a real thing, just say on the inside. But I guess my question to you is, did anything change for you once that whole preacher's kid thing got brought into the factor, or is it still a woman thing for you, like you initially kind of, I guess, led with?
I did, but again, like you said, it's that appearances, it's that perception piece. I don't know. My first thought was really, I'm gonna bring it to the podcast. And then I started processing it because I said, I'm gonna bring it to you all.
Right.
And then I figured it out there, because I want to hear from you guys.
Right.
What's your thought? Are there rules? Can your, significant other, do what they want out here in these streets? Or is there, a standard that they are held to as well?
Gotcha.
So there's the question.
Well, Janessa? Terry, I mean, one of y'all can go first.
Question. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking.
Read the question.
No, I mean, the question, it's the same as just the topic. Just are there rules to dating a PK? Like,
well, it's kind of like everybody else's relationships are moving. Like, I don't know if you guys know what's going on right now with these younger folks, but basically, if you're a dude and you want to cheat on your girlfriend and not get in trouble for it, you just have to tell her you're polyamorous, which means you can't just be with one person forever. And they go, oh, okay. But essentially, it's nothing more than just cheating and getting away with it. So, like, I couldn't imagine a preacher's kid getting, like, trying to explain that to your parents, And the only reason I say it is because my sister Chelsea, not the one that was on, the other one, the younger one, she was dating some polyamorous guy, and I was like, sounds like he just wants to bang around. That's what it sounds like,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I couldn't imagine her bringing that guy home to meet my dad and that conversation going well. So it really just depends on the person you're bringing home. If they're not necessarily religious or steeped in religion, I feel like that's a bridge you can cross. But if it's anything, let's say more secular like that, I don't see that going well.
Well, real quick, Kelly, for your situation, is yours more just say, like, as far as like dating somebody, going to a strip club and being a PK, is that more just say a problem because of just say your dad's reputation, or more or less your dad's conversation with him?
Probably more of my dad's reputation.
Okay.
I mean, my dad may never know that he goes to the strip club. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something. Now the polyamorous piece, that may be something that that may be shared. Going to the strip club, a couple times a month may not be anything my father. It won't be anything that my father ever knows unless hey, oh man, isn't that Kelly's boyfriend at Magic City? Somebody says that, then that's going to spread like wildfire. And I think too, when you talk about dating a PK, people don't understand that that piece. That unfortunately in this small circle, people care about what I do and who I am. in this couple of hundred people,
right.
they care.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. So it's difficult. Outside the PK thing, I may be okay. To be honest.
And you care that they care.
Well, we had this conversation the entire time.
But I'm saying, but even since then, so you're saying that like that would bother you if people looked at you a type of way because of what your boyfriend was doing.
But that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so that's in the place where I'm processing,
Gotcha.
And that I feel like been the purpose of kind of this whole
Right.
podcast.
Gotcha.
For myself, like not even thinking about the other person, but just for myself.
Would you ever go with him? Would you ever go to a strip club with your boyfriend, preacher's kid or not?
So now the world gonna get all my business. So I've done it before.
Okay.
Not with this guy. With another guy.
And now by saying that you have to go with him too, because you can't do something with another guy you won't do with your current guy. That's a hit to the male ego. Can't
Understood. So I've done it before. I've been to a strip club or two without, like I said, without a guy.
Right.
Not my business today. But so when you never mind. So what was the question? I got all off.
Would you go with him to the strip club?
Oh yeah, I would.
Would you let him get a lap dance?
Probably not.
There you go.
But I'm saying, I guess, so you going with him to the strip club, would you prefer people to see both of y'all there and have a judgment as opposed to seeing him there and having a judgment?
So part of the initial conversation I had was, and again, this is all hypothetical because we're not together, but a part of the initial conversation was, I just need you to let me know. Never do I want somebody else to come and say, hey, Kelly, I saw your boyfriend at the strip club.
Right.
I need you to tell me. So when they come to me, I can say, I know, and this is.
So it's not about somebody else telling you, it's about you finding out from somebody else.
Right. So I definitely don't want to find out from somebody else. Right. Because
they're still going to tell you.
Right.
Be like, oh, that.
Yeah, I know. He was with the two other guys and blah, blah, blah. You tell me. So then I don't have to find out from somebody else. If this is something that we decide to agree upon, that this is what you're going to do in the relationship, because everybody's going to have something, right? And so if this is something that I decide that I am okay with, I need you to be honest with me and let me know and not hide it.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay, Janessa, you know the question?
I'm sorry, I'm over here multitasking. So I think specifically for the strip club situation, it doesn't matter if my dad's a pastor, a plumber. I personally would not want my boyfriend to go to the strip club when we're as a couple. I've been to the strip club before I met my boyfriend. He's probably been, I don't know, I'm sure he has. But from the day we decided to be a couple, I'm gonna need him not to be there. And it doesn't have anything to do with my dad. I just don't understand what he is getting from the strip club that I cannot do now. I might not be able to do all them trips and flicks, okay? But
I don't think it's that.
First of all, you're a PK. You don't do tricks and flicks, okay? Missionary. Okay.
First of all, you're a PK. We talking
You
about
do not do tricks.
you're
I'm
not
talking.
doing any of that.
I'm talking about when you get
Right.
married.
Right. When I get
Even when you
married,
get married, you don't do tricks and flips. Okay.
when I get married, I
Missionary.
won't be doing all of that because knees. Y'all know I had knee surgery and all. I just can't do it.
You are a PK. We don't care if you were healthy. Okay. You do not do tricks and flips.
But I just don't. I don't. You know. I just don't feel like that's a place that he needs to be in. Now I'm trying to think of some other situations where, like maybe if he's at a cigar bar. And like I wouldn't feel some type of way like, oh my gosh, my dad's a pastor, and if somebody sees my boyfriend at a cigar bar, it's problematic. Like I wouldn't feel any type of way about that. So I guess for me, it's just a case by case situation. But strip club is a no go. Try again.
What about on the conversation tip? Like Kellie kind of mentioned, just say she already knows what questions her dad would ask. Do you ever, I guess, consider that when choosing your significant other in reference to that meeting with the parents and knowing, how that conversation may go?
Yeah. So I think as I've gotten older, the guys that I'm interested in actually kind of line up more with the characteristics that my dad has. So I wouldn't bring home anybody that I wouldn't feel comfortable letting my dad like go in, because I would want my dad to go in and I would want my significant other to be able to like handle the heat. So yeah, I'm not gonna bring somebody who can't do that, but I will, and that's honestly why I haven't. Chris is like the first person, like Kellie, that I have introduced to my parents in my adult life. Really, there have been some other people who, they kind of casually met. We weren't officially dating, or it was somebody that I like, or they came to the church or something, or maybe it was an event at school and, they just kind of knew him in passing. But Chris really is the first man that I have brought home like, parents, I really like this guy. This is who's going to be around. I need you to get to know him. And part of it is because I know the questions that my dad's going to ask, and there's no point in bringing someone who I'm not serious with, for one, but then two, who I know my dad is just going to run over. So, yeah.
But you don't have any. So, but in reference to like you being a PK, nothing about that specifically, whether it's reputation or whatever. Like you don't care about that. You out here.
Not at all. Not at all. I really got to a point where I was looking for happiness for myself. I feel like a lot of my life has been spent in this PK shadow and caring what other people think, or making sure I put on this right persona, or this calm, cool, collected, front. That I've just kind of gotten to a point where, guess what, guys? It's not about you. It's about me. So if you like them, great, because I like them. But if you don't, I also really don't care, because that's not your man. So,
well,
amen.
Amen.
I will hope, you're not trying to take my man, but that's a whole Portia and Fallon situation.
That's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother situation.
Gotcha. Terry, you said you had an interesting story you wanted to share with us.
Did I?
Yeah, you said you had like a girlfriend or somebody you dated. You said you
were younger. Your virginity.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that.
Drugs. Okay.
That was like a million years ago. That was before we even started. No, it was weird because I lost my virginity to a preacher's daughter, and a preacher's niece, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it's a Tennessee thing. Anyway.
No, it's the same person though.
Yeah, it's the same person.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't lose your virginity twice.
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the church that they went to, like, all of them found out, what we had done.
Oh, that's
But like, yeah, because it wasn't just us; it was another couple, and we kind of like disappeared off into the evening one night. It was like, oh, did you hear about them? And that again, that was the other couple was also a preacher's nephew and a preacher's daughter. So there's a lot of churches in Tennessee.
How old were y'all?
I was 16, she was 18. So yeah.
And the other people there around the same age?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Gotcha.
We're all just teenagers. But
gotcha.
No, it adds another level, like you said before, when other people in the congregation find out and it turns into a whole thing. Then you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Adds another level to the I don't know, to the stress of the situation, I guess I would say.
But that was because you were a kid. I mean, I'm sure that same situation now, like if you, because you're still a PK, and then if you went and screwed another PK, and then there was two more people who are also PKs, like as adults, I don't think y'all would get the same reaction, I'm assuming.
No, probably not. I mean, yes, there would be a little scandal.
Sure, it will be.
But it's something else when you add the fact that you're teenagers to it, I guess. But
if y'all sneaking off on church events to go have sex,
no, wasn't a church event.
Oh, so where were y'all sneaking off from?
We just kind of snuck out of church early and went to somebody's house. So
gotcha.
Yeah, and it was in one of those. You ever seen the little red race car beds for kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those.
That's impressive.
Vroom, vroom.
So.
Gotcha. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of tricky for me. I mean, even listening to your situation, Kellie, man, like for me, I don't really see it being a problem unless you care, and I don't really see it. I don't really see somebody caring unless, just say either they felt like their parents would really care, and or their parents had a reputation enough where it would care. Because, like, I mean, as far as like being a PK, and let's just say like I brought home whoever, you know what I'm saying, like a stripper. You talking about somebody who goes to the strip club? I date a stripper, right? If I brought her to church, like my dad wouldn't care about what the church talking about as far as like his son dating a stripper. You feel what I'm saying? My mom might care just on some. It wouldn't even have nothing to do with Christianity. She would just be like, you know, is the type of woman that you want. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, well, mom, she made more than me. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
Actually, this is the type of woman. No, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, but I also feel like, and I think I've kind of mentioned before, like if I was Bishop T.D. Jake's son, or if I was Bishop Paul Morton's son, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that carries a different weight. You feel what I'm saying? I think that's a different level of expectation. That's a different, just say, awareness that you may have to have. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm Pastor Wilson's son, and you see me smoking weed on a podcast, like nobody cares. If I'm Bishop T.D. Jake's son, and I'm smoking weed on a podcast, that shit going viral.
Somebody cares.
Right? You feel what I'm saying? If my dad cussed me out right now on the phone and it get leaked just like Kirk Franklin did, nobody. I'm just being sick. Nobody cares. But Kirk Franklin do it. Everybody cares.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So like I feel like when it comes down to just say the PK thing specifically, I think that matters. The reputation part, whether there really is one to just say break, and I don't know if my dad doesn't care because he doesn't just say have that big of a reputation when it comes down to just say me embarrassing him in front of the world, or even if he did have that, maybe he still wouldn't care. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I guess I would have to see him in that position, but I do just know that he's a very, you know, open-minded person. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't panic just because, you know what I'm saying, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? Like he'll assess the situation and may give you guidance, but he ain't gonna never, you know, scold, you know, hey, you are a PK. You are that is not of, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna hit it from that angle is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So but for you, Kelly, I think it, you know, it may be, I think the plot may thicken a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Even with you being a woman, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think, you know, because women even have a double standard as far as like, if you were dating a stripper as opposed to me dating a stripper, they would just be like, oh, well, you know, he a Christian, but he a man. But you know what I'm saying? But you being a woman, they can be like, that is not virtuous. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I said, my first thought wasn't even me being a PK. You know, my first thought was just as a woman, that isn't where I want you to be. Period.
Right.
But like I said, and then when somebody threw on that added layer of me being a PK, you know, but like I said, and I really thought about you guys, which is why I was saying bring it to the podcast. Cause like I said, all right, so if they saw my boyfriend out drinking,
Right.
you know, out smoke, like I got into the point where I drink. I just told you I was on bourbon partying all weekend, you know.
Right.
Now I didn't flash nobody, I ain't show my breasts, I didn't get no beads. You know, but that was in a space where I'm comfortable. You say, oh, Pastor Kevin, I saw your child out on bourbon. She had the hand grenade in her hand. She did.
Right.
You know, there's pictures on Instagram that you can take of and you know, she did. You know, and so I have gotten to the point in some spaces where I'm comfortable. Like I said, it just brought an interesting dynamic when we were just talking, you know, and he said that piece, and I was just like, huh. That's not something I knew about you earlier. You know, this is interesting to kind of unpack. And anybody who knows me, I'm gonna unpack it to the, like I said, let's go through all the scenarios, let's go through this, that, the other. But that's just kind of who I am, which is how we got to. You better tell me. You better whatever, because whatever it is,
right.
I need you to tell me.
So let me ask you this: so why, outside the preacher aspect, why as just a woman, why don't you want him at the strip club?
So Janessa, I'm gonna let Janessa answer that question.
I just don't think. I think I just don't understand if we're together why you need to be looking at other naked women, and even if they aren't butt naked, I mean, just like, what does that do for you? Does that create lust in you? Does that create a desire for someone that's not me? Like, what's the point?
It doesn't matter how you work up your appetite as long as you eat at home.
Anyways,
that might work in your house. That does not work over here.
Okay.
So what about in reference to like porn? You feel the same way? Like if somebody like watching porn, like I'm asking you, Janessa.
I would prefer that they not. That's not something that, again, I think that's like a avenue to that can potentially create other issues.
Right.
Does that mean you're against your partner masturbating in general, or just can't use porn to masturbate?
You know, we had this like sex Bible study something with the young adults a couple of years ago. There you go. And we talked about that because they were like, oh, masturbation technically isn't in the Bible. And going back down to the root of lust and whatnot. And so if memory serves correctly, the verdict that was the understanding that everybody kind of left the Bible study was, if you're married and you can masturbate and only think about your wife, then go for it.
I like that you called it a verdict because juries are always wrong. They let OJ go. So that's...
Well,
juries mess up all the time.
And Zimmerman.
That what at the end of the class was
and Michael Jackson. You know, juries are wrong all the time.
Did okay, so the verdict was you can masturbate as a married person as long as you're thinking about your wife. Now this means like because your wife isn't giving it up and you're thinking about her, or like because y'all are out of town in two separate places and you rubbing one out so that you won't cheat, I guess, or whatever.
I mean, well, I'm not married, so I don't know. But
It just sounds. It
I'm
sounds like
assuming
another.
at any point, whether they're out of town, whether the person's in the room.
Well, I guess because I would imagine that, like, if me and my wife was going through it and like we ain't had sex, just say like 6 months. If I'm beating off, I'm probably not thinking about her at that point. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
somebody else.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If it's for that reason, like if we got some type of disconnect, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me remember back when it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm gonna just think about some fantasy chick or something. You know what I'm saying? Put 8 celebrities together. You know what I'm saying? To make one. You know what I'm saying? Like, why I'm not. But but if you're talking about like, oh no, everything's good, but like we both travel a lot for work. You know what I'm saying? Then yeah, I'm sure at that point you probably FaceTiming each other, doing all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know it. That's just kind of weird.
It sounds like another facet of control to me. It's just another controlling thing. It's like, can you imagine? Because I was married. Can you imagine being married and your wife beating on the bathroom door? Hey, you better be thinking about me in there. Like, that's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, I'm gonna just pull my pants up right now.
No, every person needs their own little, corner of the world, whether that just be privacy, whether that be self-manipulation, as the Catholics would call it, or or watching porn or whatever. You have to, and men are different than women. They just are. They're built different. Like, men are, just by our very nature, are meant to propagate as much as possible. So there is an instinct that we're overcoming. Every time we're monogamous, there is an instinct that we are overcoming to be with the partner we're with.
So just real.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
do you agree with that?
Who, me?
Rudy, do you agree with what Terry just said? That in order to be monogamous, you are I can't remember your term.
Fighting part of your own instinct.
Absolutely. Yes, because
okay.
I think you can't be tempted by something that you don't want. You know what I'm saying? But that's just like saying to lose weight, you're fighting against your own instinct to eat. You know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things that your body or mind may naturally be accustomed to and want to do. And I do think you have to fight against that to make yourself a better person in any form or fashion.
Well, let me clarify a little bit. I've never cheated on anybody ever in my whole life. Not a girlfriend, wife, nothing. Going back to the 5th grade. But just seems wrong to me. But does that mean that when a hot woman walks by in a bikini on the beach, I don't think some things? I think some things. You know what I mean? That's that part of the instinct. But it's also the same part of the instincts that has to stop modern men from, just going over and hitting her with a club and dragging her back to the cave. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I am saying it's a thing, And
I guess that's my question. I'm sorry, Janessa, I'm gonna let you go, but I guess that's my question. Is it crazy for us as women to think that my man is only going to think and look at me for the next 30, 40, 50 years of my life? That when we're at the beach, like I said, and there's a woman that passes by in a bikini, that he isn't going to look. Well,
how about this? Let's flip that script. Let's go right to it. You're telling me somebody, some big dude, cut up, shredded, maybe got some tattoos or something like that, looking good, walks by you. You don't think, like, in the back of your head, you're not like, or something, like nothing?
I think women are more capable than men. I think women don't have to fight that instinct to be with multiple people.
Well, yeah, no, we're talking about lust. We're talking about desire.
Right. Yeah, but as far as just like looking and then having a thought, I will say that just because, like, will you be crazy to think that you are the only attractive person to your man? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Would you be crazy to think that your man can't just look at a woman and not visualize what sex would be like? Like, no, I don't think that's crazy, because I think a man can admire how bad a woman is without necessarily painting the picture in his mind. Because once
it kind of goes back to what I said. It doesn't matter how you work up your appetite as long as you eat at home.
But this is what I'm saying. But that reason why that's stupid is because you can work up your appetite in the wrong way, which then makes you not eat at home, which is their fear.
That's not what I said.
But I'm saying you said it doesn't matter how you work up your appetite, and I'm telling you,
it means you can't control your desire, but you
right.
can control your action.
But exactly. But you can also control your thoughts, and your thoughts are what's going to lead to the action.
You cannot control your thoughts.
Are you serious? You trying to tell me
100%.
that you cannot look at a woman and see that she looks bad without going deep into how you gonna smash her from the back?
Let's put it this way: I can keep myself from sitting there thinking about it for 5 minutes, but I can't keep my reaction like, oh god.
That's a reaction and a thought is two different things. A reaction and a thought is two different things, though.
My father actually had a great expression for this. He was talking about anxiety, but you can do it with this as well. He says you can't stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from making a nest in your hair. Does that make any sense to you?
It doesn't. But what I'm saying is
your thoughts are like birds. They fly over your head, but you can't stop them from sitting there and just, rattling around in your brain all the time.
No, your reaction is closer to the bird flying over your head, and the nest would be the thought, because the nest is. I mean. Yeah, you said it the opposite way, but what I'm saying is the thought is because it's sitting there. And once you get to that point where it's sitting there, like if I'm at the strip club and this girl's dancing on me, and I'm looking past like, oh, let me throw money and stunt. I'm starting to think like, dang, boy, like, well, I hit this. My thoughts have immediately changed, and as a woman, I see the fear in your man having that thought. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where this whole conversation is even stemmed from. Even if and I think we've all, outside of Kelly, we've all put our preacher's kid hat down. We don't care as far as Janessa, Terry, and Rudy, as far as the whole judgment thing. Kelly, you might have to fight that battle on your own. But in reference, but in reference to that whole thing, I think yes, a man, if he has a reaction, if a woman walks past, like he's definitely going to have to be cognitive of turning his head, turning his eyes, because it's way more of a reaction that you can't control to naturally look at anything attractive. I don't care if it's chocolate cake, spaghetti, or a fat butt. If it's something that catches your eye and brings attention to your things that you crave, then it is something that you're going to have to fight. But at the same time, I don't know how you make that judgment, whether he's, whether this is just, strip club entertainment for him, or he's really like, fantasizing. I don't know how you dissect that.
Right. Like I said, I would prefer that it just wasn't an issue at all. Again, beyond
there's a lot of things that men prefer women to do, but won't happen. So
right. And so, and I talk about it all the time. I go to therapy. We talk about relationships. She talks about, what are your deal breakers? And I never, where is my man goes to the strip club on my list of deal breakers?
Right.
I haven't decided that, but I will say it's something. And I talked to a couple of my married friends over the weekend about it too. I didn't get a chance to talk to her husband though. But like I said, but just I hadn't thought about it. So just wanted to bring it up. I hadn't even thought about the whole PK piece. Somebody else brought that to me. That wasn't even my initial concern. Forget the preacher's part. It's me as a woman.
Right.
That's just not what I want. But I understand. See, when I live in Atlanta, strip clubs are a cultural thing. Like you said. It's a huge thing. It's a cultural thing. Like I said, it's a place that you go and stun, and you go and you throw your money and your dollars and whatever. It's a place I know that people go and handle business and have business meetings and make $1 million bills, $1 million, plans or whatever.
Right.
Strip clubs is a very, like I said, cultural thing here in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. So like you said, I think an important part would be, what is his purpose in going? Are you going to fantasize? I mean, because for me, if that's what you need, there's always going to be a woman with a bigger butt, a flatter stomach, bigger breasts, cuter, prettier, longer hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that's where you feel like you got to go, then I'm not the one for you. But
are you willing to strip for your husband, just say as a way of compensating? Like if you were married and he was like, yo, you got to at least put a pole in the room and strip 3 times a week.
Really?
I'm saying because
I'm pretty sure every guy goes to the strip club, whether there's a pole there or not. It's we go for it's the naked women.
But I'm saying she doesn't want him there. So I'm saying if that was the compromise, I'm saying, would you do that?
That's an interesting thought. I don't have an answer to that right now.
I think the whole argument
on the podcast, but That's it.
Well, you said you didn't
be boiled down to the same thing, which is what we were talking about before, being equally yoked. Being equally yoked, applies to more than just spirituality. Like, you need to be equally yoked sexually, you need to be equally yoked politically, you need to be equally yoked, intelligently, for that relationship. I'm in probably one of the healthiest relationships I've ever been in my life. And it's also been one of the most freeing because we think very much similarly. She would probably, her opinion on this and my opinion on this would probably mirror each other. And that's what makes it healthy, is we tend to agree more than we disagree. So that's why I've always loved that equally yoked line from the Bible, because I feel like it applies to everything,
Line from the Bible. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm sorry, verse. Oh,
that's why I like that one number. What's that one little doohickey they say?
Yeah.
So this is like eons ago, but I just wanted to go back to what I was saying real quick about,
because I did my bad.
It's okay, about the Bible study, because I do want to give some context, because of course, because it's Bible study, they bring in the Bible, right? So I just did a quick Google search, and a couple of scriptures talk about lust. And so, Matthew 5:28 is one I'm sure we've all heard, but I say anyone who even looks at a woman with a lust in his eye has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Mm-hmm. And then you got Job 31:11 says, for lust is a shameful sin. And then you have, of course, Exodus 20:14, do not commit adultery. Do not covet your neighbor's house. Do not covet your neighbor's wife. So in that context, when you're at a strip club and you're looking at somebody with the big butt, yeah, you are lusting, depending on what your thought process is. But kind of from what the conversation is, Rudy, when you were talking about like me and my wife are in the outs and I'm, jacking one off, I'm not thinking about her. So who are you thinking about? If you're according to the Bible, if you're thinking about somebody else that's not your wife, then you've already committed adultery, and the Bible says that's a sin. So
yeah, but the Bible also says that it's better for the seed of a man to fall into the belly of a whore than on the ground.
Nah, I'm gonna need you to give me them scriptures. You can't just throw stuff
right.
out.
I mean, right. At least pull it up. Like, you just throwing it out there
in some context. But
the Bible said that orgies was better than cooking rice. What?
Right. But I'm just saying give because we're talking about preachers' kids and Christianity. From the biblical standpoint,
right?
I think sometimes the whole notion and discussion about lust kind of gets lost in the translation. Mm-hmm. But if you want to be real technical, the Bible says what the Bible says,
Right.
Now, what you do with this up to you. I can't come up Bible thumping, this is what the Bible says, but it is in the Bible.
So does that mean that if a man can genuinely go to the strip club and not lust, he Gucci?
I guess so. Just like we said, if you can masturbate and not think of anybody else or any situation other than your wife, you are good to go. I'm assuming.
I mean,
I don't know any man that can do that. So
I mean, that's just for one. I think once again, unless it's a travel situation, I don't think that any married person should be masturbating on either side. I mean, if y'all are married, y'all need to figure out y'all sex routine. Okay, nobody should be masturbating unless y'all are away from each other. If y'all masturbate in the same house because y'all ain't
okay, but it hits different, right? It hits different.
What, your hand?
Well, yeah, just masturbation in general for men and women. It's different.
What's the point you're making? I'm not following.
I don't know. I'm just saying it hits different. You're saying that neither person, a husband or a wife, should be masturbating. I'm disagreeing. I'm saying it's fine for me to masturbate. It's fine for my wife to masturbate. I have no problem with it either way.
Gotcha. So what I'm saying is that nobody should be having to masturbate, because I'm saying, even to Janessa's point, like, if I'm here, what do you need that for like now if y'all do some freaky stuff in the bedroom and y'all use toys or whatever, that's whatever. But I'm saying on some like, because I mean, I'm not gonna say what's the point of being married, but like that is a perk to being married. You can legally have sex as much as you want to. You won't defile the bed, okay? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if you're at a point where you need to be, if you're married and you need to be, just say, you know, busting one off and watching porn and stuff like that, you know, I mean, you probably fantasize about somebody else outside of your wife. That's what I'm getting at.
And maybe to Terry's point earlier about the equally yoked, if that is the case, then maybe sexually, they were unequally yoked. But I guess my question is, with not having sex until marriage, how do you determine that? Like, how do you determine if we are a match sex? I mean, I guess when the Lord ordained your husband, that is, it's.
So what you're telling me is you got the test drive in order.
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, how do you know? Like,
without test driving.
So that's your answer.
No, I'm asking. I'm saying you're saying how do you know without test driving? Is what you're saying?
Right? Yeah. Without having sex beforehand, how do we know that our sexual? If I'm a virgin going into marriage, I don't know anything about sex. You know, like.
Right. Well, I think if you're a virgin, you probably have the best chance of being equally yoked because you could just be stuck with one thing that you don't know anything better of. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you done smashed, you know what I'm saying, and you done had that thing put on you before, and then all of a sudden you get married. All of a sudden you get married, and you like, you know what? He is such a good guy. But
by the way, it was, I looked it up because you mentioned it. Genesis 38:9.
Okay, let me look.
Read. Oh, somebody read. Okay, but yeah, so I honestly think, Kelly, to that point, and I'm saying I think because I'm not putting this definitively, but I do think that is the purpose of just say waiting till marriage, because then if you wait till marriage, I think that you get a different, introduction to sex, and it's not about what's already been just say perverted in our minds because of what we've seen, because what we've done, because what we've tried, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like, so you can only base it off of your, experiences at that point. You know what I'm saying? So I think we kind of just shoot ourselves in the foot the more we out here banging.
For
you know what I'm saying?
I've only met in my lifetime, I've met one man that was a virgin in his 30s. Well, I guess we were at 20s at the time. Every other man that I've encountered.
Tim Tebow.
Oh no, Tim Tebow was getting late.
It was Tim Tebow and Russell Wilson until he married Sierra.
Wilson was the person until he married Sierra.
No,
that was the streets. That was. Do you know these people? Okay, how you gonna say what that's what they said? That's how we can go by.
I'm gonna say lies. Yeah, and Britney Spears said that her and Justin Timberlake weren't having sex, but we all knew different.
I'm still stuck on Russell Wilson and Sierra. How adorable is that?
Yeah, because then she when they started dating, then she was celibate until they got married.
Which is beautiful.
And same thing for what's her name, Devon Franklin, Megan Good husband.
Megan Good.
I thought they stopped having sex before they got married.
She did. He had never had sex, right?
And I read the little book. Not the little book, but I read the book too. I
have the book. I haven't read it though.
I read it when it first came out years ago. But that's beautiful. Let's go. Go ahead.
This is why I don't like it. It creates unrealistic expectations for normal people.
I mean, it is hard. It is right because people always say, "I want that."
Because again, back in the early 2000s, when Justin Timberlake and Britney were dating. Everybody was like, "Oh, you think they're having sex?" And they're like, "No, we're waiting to marriage. We're waiting to marriage." And fast forward 20 years to this Britney Spears, documentary that's out. It's like, of course we were having sex. What's the matter with you? We just didn't talk about it publicly. It's bad for the brand,
Well, of course, yeah. But I mean, that's show business. They were like kids. They trying to keep like a little teenage image. They can't be out here like, yo, they fucking.
Right.
They're two hot 19-year-olds.
And then you into that bye or whatever. Who was that? Justin's group?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was NSYNC. Yeah, you're right.
My God, you don't know.
I think
NSYNC, Backstreet, right.
It's so funny that she said that. I think that song could solve most of the world's problems because, like, you can say black, white, cop, protester, Palestinian, Israeli. everybody likes that song. You know that.
It ain't no lie. Baby.
Yeah, everybody likes that song. Everybody does. Even Rudy shaking his head. Fuck off, man. If that's
well, I just didn't know. I thought you were going somewhere. You know, I didn't know that was what that was.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just interjecting.
No, I got you.
Just
Kelly, I don't
solve the world's problems. That's all.
Well, we have Kelly's problem, which I don't know if we solved tonight. But
yeah.
But I just will say that I don't think that just because he goes to the strip club, just say from the woman's perspective, as far as like just the dating perspective, I don't necessarily think that makes him, you know, a piece of shit. I don't think that necessarily makes him a luster. I don't necessarily think that makes him desiring somebody other than just say the one he's being monogamous with. Does he have a higher chance than the nigga who not going? Absolutely. Now, from the preacher's kid perspective, I think that will just be a moment of freeing that you will probably eventually have to reach. Because even if it's not the strip club, it'll be something else. It'll always be something. You know what I'm saying? That people are going to nitpick about. Even if, you know, he could be a minister, but just say he suck at preaching, they're gonna be like, oh, he ain't anointed. He need to sit down. It's gonna be something. You feel what I'm saying? So,
well, I think it comes down to context in Kelly's situation. Context. If the boys are going out and they end up at the strip club, no, that's probably nothing wrong with that. But if like you said, it's Tuesday at 5:00 and he just got off work and his first thought is to go to the strip club, yeah, it's really all about the context of it. You know what I mean? Because you gave those two examples. Like, yeah, if all the guys are going out, you don't want to be the one guy that's not a guy. You know what I mean? Like, they can't hang with the boys. But at the same time, if that's your thing or you're going once or twice a week or something like that, like, I hate strip clubs, to be honest. I'll go, you know.
But you can do the context thing, but at the same time, Kelly, which for you specifically, you kind of also seem like you have like Janessa, like the zero tolerance thing. And I think that if that is a zero tolerance thing, I think that should just be addressed. Like, yo.
Well, she gave some examples as to when it would be appropriate. Bachelor party.
Right. But what I'm saying is, to leave it, I guess, kind of just open for interpretation each event. I'm saying that's kind of wide open, as opposed to saying like, yo, if there's a specific event, let me know first, and then I'm cool with it type thing. But if you don't want him casually, you know what I'm saying, going to strip club, I mean, you have to, and that's anything. If they say he was a drinker, you like, yo, I don't want you drinking every day. If it's an event, you can drink, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't want you smoking every day if it's an event. So I think all of that can be a thing, but I think you should just be clear about how you truly feel about it. And then whatever he gives you back, you just decide if you want to deal with that or not. Because you also can't change it, man. You can't give him an ultimatum like, do this or else. You know what I'm saying? Because then he might choose or else. And then,
well, then it turns into him going behind your back, and you can't have that happen.
Right, exactly.
You have to figure out
anything, because it's going to be something.
Right.
Well, that's part of an adult relationship. You have to sit down and have the talk about what each of you thinks is appropriate, and then that way you're on the same page. But people are the main thing is that you feel like you can communicate your own point of view and your own feelings to it, and having that line of communication open is what's going to keep you from having a man that runs off to the strip club while you're not paying attention. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to take them how they are. Like Rudy said, you can't change a man. You got to take them how they are, or move on to the next one. So,
or you can wait on that 1% guy. I mean, it's 1%, but I mean, somebody finding them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, as
Russell Wilson said, he's a virgin. Wow.
Yeah. It's people out here finding them, man. You know what I'm saying?
Love him some Sierra.
Your mama found one.
She did.
You know what I'm saying? So,
well, the problem with 1% guys is they tend to hold out for 1% women. So.
Wow.
What?
Shots fired.
That's not shots fired. That's nothing to do with Kelly.
Didn't sound like it to me. Didn't sound like it to me at all. I mean, I gave her mom a compliment, her dad a compliment. He was like, well, you know one thing about 1% men.
Right.
Well,
the reason why you can't get a 1%er.
If you find a 1%er, that means you're 1% too.
I mean, it's not necessarily. But that's also context and depending on people's standards, because Because some people wouldn't consider Sierra 1% compared to just say Russell Wilson. You feel what I'm saying? Like they would be like, oh, she did her thing first and then cleaned it up. You feel what I'm saying? So that's not necessarily true. You can, and I'm not saying she was a bad person, but her path to him was different than his path to her, is what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But how bad must he feel? Like how much resentment's going to grow there in the coming years that supposedly he was a virgin when they met, but she's, run through some. It's like that's got to feel a little emasculating.
But he wasn't a virgin though. He was Russell Wilson was married before.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. He was married to a white lady. Yes, he was.
But what
your whole argument's falling apart, Rudy.
Was he not if he was a virgin before he married the white lady? Because then he still waited.
Yeah, now if he did that, then yeah. But he was married before Sierra.
I wasn't gonna argue with him. I know Russell Wilson wasn't a virgin.
Her name was Ashton Mem. They were married from 2012 to 2014. And he married.
Yeah, but they didn't have sex any of that time. All that time.
I'm saying, but if he still was a virgin prior to marrying her. So that, I mean, it still equates to the same thing. Either way, and if he didn't have sex again until marrying Sierra, I think that's a 1%er.
Yeah, and Tim Tebow was a virgin too. If you believe that, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona I want to sell you.
Now, I don't know. This one says, who held Sierra wedding ceremony on Wednesday in England, finally scored after keeping his promise and waiting until marriage with Sierra.
Okay, so just with her.
So let me.
They had that celibacy dating, which is. Oof.
But you don't know what he did before he got married once, so yes, he's had sex before Sierra, but it was with his wife. You're making it seem like it was
until marriage, because that's how you end up on your honeymoon, finding out that your new husband is in the BDSM and you didn't have any warning.
Well, that's why your signal cut out when you said that, because it probably wasn't meant for you to say. All right. Well, either way. All right. Well, Kelly, why you looked that up?
I'm saying I don't believe in sex.
Say it again.
I don't believe in waiting until marriage.
Not you, Terry. We're talking about Kelly. What you
say? I said I see now what Janessa is saying that he was married first, and so he kept his virginity until then,
and then kept it again.
Maybe
it doesn't matter. Waiting till marriage to have sex is ridiculous. That's how you end up on your honeymoon, finding out your new husband's into BDSM, and you never knew. So,
yeah, it didn't work the second time either. All right, go ahead, Kelly.
Second time?
No,
all right. Well, first, let me say thank you guys for listening to my situation today. Just wanted to throw it out there. Maybe I'll keep you updated on this guy. I am not currently dating this guy. We are just getting to know each other to see if we want to date.
Gotcha.
But if you want to continue to listen to us, if you want to find us, if you want to, we got to
follow us
on there. So when they follow us, they can see us. We got to do that, guys. Anywho, follow us at The Worst Ones PK on Instagram.
Okay.
Next turn. All right. Now, if you want to listen to us or see us do this podcast weekly, you can find us on YouTube or wherever podcasts are played, including Spotify, Apple Music. You can just type in The Worst Ones Podcast.
It's Apple Podcasts, not Apple Music. It's different now. But okay.
Apple Podcasts.
It's all good.
And then when you get there, make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe. We appreciate all 500 million of you.
Hey. You feel
that's
me?
right. I know that's right.
That who listen weekly. We're working our way to 1 billion.
There you go. There you go. And then 1 trillion. All right.
But there's only like 9 billion people on there. But whatever.
We'll figure it out.
Listening to the same thing.
Mm-hmm. They'll play it twice.
Right.
Everybody play it twice.
It's so great.
This is a big hit. This podcast is a big hit in India. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I followed the algorithm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they love it. They love it in India.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Hey. Hi, folks in India.
Mm-hmm. Hey, India.
Yeah, there's only 7.6 billion people in the world, but that's all right. We're aiming for 1 trillion.
You feel me?
It's your turn, Janessa.
Oh yeah, sorry. I've been so distracted. Y'all follow me at Melanated Brews for all things coffee, tea, and beer. I was out of town last week in Tallahassee and went to a coffee spot down there that I really enjoyed. I wish they had it here. So that is going to be my next post. Check me out to see all about it.
Cool beans.
Oh, me. Now it's my turn. I just want to say thank you to all of our 500 million listeners or trillion listeners, because now we know that UFOs are real, which means aliens are.
That's right.
real.
The aliens are listening.
So I want to thank Lord Xenu for listening to the podcast and all of his squiggly monster people from outer space. If they want to talk to me or come see one of my shows, it's Terry Wayne Comedy on all social media platforms.
And that's comedy shows. He's not a stripper, guys.
I can be if the money's right.
Gotcha.
I would say, what's your strip name, Terry? Is it Terry Wayne Comedy?
No, it's T Wayne. What's up, girl?
Gotcha.
Rudy looks unimpressed.
You want to feel this stubble on your thighs, girl? Yeah.
Rudy, what's your stripper name?
I don't have one. I'm a preacher's kid. Okay.
Rudy.
I am a preacher's kid. You please follow on all social medias: Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on also on the Apple Podcasting and the Spotify's at the podcast official page. It's a once a month podcast that we do. We just had our episode 3. Which was very, very good. It was about gender roles. Very, very juicy topic. We had some old timers on there, married couples. We had some young folks, people talking reckless. It was a good little mix up. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to join the fun, we do it the last Monday of each month on Zoom. You can find the Zoom link and all that jazz and the Zoom meeting ID on the Instagram page at the podcast official page. That be it, y'all. That be it. We out of here. You know what I'm saying? Pay your tithes, brush your teeth, wear your mask, wash your hands.
Put the devil behind thee.
Put the devil behind thee. Good luck to Kellie on her new engagement that she said yes, guys. She said yes.
Thinking it.
I said
Manifesting.
So we'll get wedding pictures in a few weeks, guys. So until next time, we out.